What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Erica from the Classic Line blog. Yes, it's Freedom Tuesday. I am doing another one today, but only because I had to reach out and talk about Jenkins' social media murder. So many people are saying, oh my gosh, it's because she posted that she makes six-figure income. And that's just not true. Again, this is why I'm always saying the comment when they say no new friends is just the most dangerous thing they can do for people. It's one of the most dangerous things that can happen as you grow, stunting your own growth. So here's some of the ones I'm going to talk about. Number one is growth. If you notice anything about the person she's actually dating and married to, he actually has another kid outside of their relationship. She had to kind of force his arm, twist his arm to make him get a barber license. You know, there's a lot of things there that shows you that this man possibly did not want to be with her long term. He was one of those people that we say are there for the ride, not necessarily there for you, right? Because if the ride stops, a lot of people get off the ride. And another thing here is, 72 hours after she died, this mysterious death that someone came across their house and just shot just her. I don't know anybody who lets their wife open the door at 2 a.m. Never heard of that in my life. But, after he holds her in his arms and she's bleeding and dying, he goes to the strip club 72 hours later. This is one of those things where you watch. This is where you watch freaking 48 Hours, Murder Mysteries, American Greed, and straight up, it is like The Husband. Like, watch one of those shows every time. They're going to look at the spouse. So you have to be smarter than that. And clearly he is not smarter than that. He is a Dusty Jerome. And what do I call a Dusty Jerome? A Dusty Jerome is some of these guys who know there's always some low self-esteem woman who will let them drive her car while she's at work, just kind of do bare minimum, kind of hang around, help watch the kids, sometimes bring food, sometimes bring money in, but do just enough to kind of basically be a sluggard. And they'll always say, you know what it is? It's because I got a felony. You know what it is? It's because they don't ever want to let the man or the brother or the Hispanic man have a chance. It doesn't matter if he's white, black, or Hispanic. I've met white dudes who get out of the army after 4 years and claim everything on my back and my neck is broke. Well, how come the VA won't give you a check then? Don't worry about that, girl. Don't worry about that. So I've seen it from white guys. I've seen it from black guys. I've seen it from Hispanic guys. I call it the Dusty Jerome because it is just a part of their mentality. They're dusty. So here's the thing about it. Short-term friends, long-term friends. Drake and all these people say, no new friends. And here's the thing, what they're trying to say is keeping yourself genuine. And you can keep yourself genuine without dragging Dusty Jeromes on the road with you. So here's, if she's going from homeless, now there's a reason why they're homeless. A homeless couple, and 2 years later they're six figures, mainly off of her income. They're living in this nice side of town, but his behavior is the same. How are you homeless yet still making babies with another person? That doesn't even make good sense, right? That's just, go sleep and live at that woman's house then, right? So when he gets married to her, I mean, in my mind I go, a lot of women are just committed to the theory that if I keep working on this man, if I build this project man up, he will stand up and be honorable because we have these kids together, because I've spent this time, because I've invested with him. And that's just not true. I mean, a lot of times these people are enablers or users, right? And so those are good use of words because that's what they are. So here's another one. How to be safe, right? So people are saying, well, it's because she posted her money on there. You should never post your relationship or your money on social media. And there are people who are posting their checks. There are people posting Amazon FBA numbers. There are people who are posting lots of numbers all the time and posting where they're at and where they're traveling, and they're not getting murdered. Okay? So a lot of times when people say this, they have to realize it's closer to home than that. There's no incentive for a stranger to come off the street and find you on social media and drive from California to Texas to your house and try to murder you, right? Yes, there's ways to be safe. We have family channels. You have different type of channels where people are at their actual businesses. Yes, there's ways to be safe, not displaying addresses, not over displaying information. But that's also why I don't do P&L sheets. I don't do my bank account statements here. I don't do a lot of these activities that other people do because I've had my identity stolen when it wasn't anybody on this channel. So when I see people keep saying, well, yeah, you should post your income, you should post your numbers, you should post your bank accounts, you should post your investment accounts, you're an idiot. That's just straight up what you're saying is you're an idiot because you honestly don't know what identity theft is like and the headache it will put you through in having your account frozen. So one, when anybody starts showing certain bank accounts, I'm like, that person's going to have a hacking incident. And whenever someone does do that, I notice they have a team behind them. They have a team of 10, 12 people, and they hop on it. You know, even to this day, you see Ty Lopez doesn't show his numbers. And we already know that 109,000 people signed up for a $67 course. So he's making about $7 million there. So another one. Major fears. Now, why do people say no new friends and don't post all this stuff on social media and don't do it? And it is 3 major fears: fear of loss, and one of them is fear of loss of friends, and change. Now, when I say those 3, I mean, when you say change, somebody does all this change, like Gary Vee's a prime example. He worked out every day for 18 months. At the end of the 18 months, they said, well, Gary Vee, are you happy? Are you excited about all this weight loss? First thing out of his mouth was like, no. If you just showed me a picture of myself now versus when I was chubby, I wouldn't have did all this. And he was honest. He was very honest, because he assumed he was going to be some magically buff guy, somebody his body type wasn't. And that's what happens with weight loss. A lot of people are like scared to actually go 150% into like workouts and personal trainers and diets, because when they actually get the finished product, they actually report high numbers of people not being happy. Weight loss surgery, a lot of those people, if they don't get counseling, it wasn't the food, it was just an issue. And so now it moves on to alcohol. I think you guys have seen the show Biggest Loser with Julian Michaels. A lot of those people get that weight back. And it's not because they quit exercising. It's not because they quit doing the tactics they taught, which were really extreme. They just had other issues there that were never being dealt with counseling. So that's just on that. But that's a big fear for people. Like, if I go through all this change, will it be worth it? I look up and I talk to people personally, I know 5 years later, and I go, you're still at that job you hate? You're still driving that car? You know, you're still doing these things? And it's not to insult them, but it's to say, you told me you were disgusted with this. Clearly you weren't that disgusted. Okay. Loss of friends. So a lot of times I know people who, they go to the Saturday cookout and they love hanging out with the group. They're listening to Sade, they're dancing, they're doing all the stuff. And the thought of them having to possibly give up Saturday fun day with that group of people scares them. The thought of all their family members possibly asking them for money makes them upset. I actually know a girl who is a medical doctor in North Carolina and is constantly giving out money to each one of her family members. Now, part of it is guilt, part of it is they're so poor, but you know, they weren't there when she was sitting her butt at UNC Chapel Hill studying all night long. They weren't there when she was putting in the hours at medical school far away from all of them. You know, that, you know, if something happens to her, what happens to the rest of them? So a key component of, if you're going to have family members like that, is you've got to help them grow, right? And grow or let them go. Key example here is LeBron James. LeBron James has all his family and friends working for him, but each one of them, he took them and got them certificates, classes, courses, you know, different things so they could advance, so they could be certified to know how to look at statements. They could be certified to know how to work in this. They'd be certified how to do marketing. They wouldn't just be your friend Bo from over here. He's going to manage my properties while I'm in the NFL. That doesn't make any sense. Bo doesn't have those skills. And watching YouTube alone didn't give Bo those skills, right? So making sure the people around you are qualified. Like, I have a nephew and he wants to have a t-shirt company, an online business. And I go, I would love to help you because I'm already doing the online stuff. I could help you overnight. But your commitment and dedication to what I need you to be listening to, you won't do. If you won't take these classes, if you won't go to community college, if you won't learn the structures and the steps and take some of these online courses from people, I'm not going to help you do it. Because it's a dream. It's a young man's dream. Like, I just want to do this online business thing. Okay, well, go put in the hours and show me you're serious and I'll help you. So we have yet to see how that plays out. Okay. But it's a fear of change. It's a fear of change. It's a fear of growth, because we all know this is true. If you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Right? Just like I did the previous video, when people learn that there's like secret investment groups and they're Asian people getting $100,000, they're pissed. They're angry. Oh, that's not fair. But now that you know what you're going to do with it, what does that knowledge do for you other than make you upset if you don't take action? And I see a lot of like venting on Facebook and these cops and these, and 9 times out of 10, if you live in certain neighborhoods, you don't even see a cop in the whole week. You know, and if you do, you need to know a few things how to talk. You know, it's just that simple. But I'll look over some of the stuff you guys said. And Alan, I'm laughing to myself. This Erica after a few beers. This is Erica waiting on this jambalaya in the kitchen to finish cooking. All right. There's a lot of users and enablers out there. Yeah, I mean, I'm writing the Bark article and it's almost done. But it's a Chicago mom. Chicago now, uptown. salon, very popular. She had 90,000 in her bank account, 2 life insurance policies. She donated to the kids in her community, donated to nonprofits. Her son, with his Dusty Jerome self, yes, that's the word, Dusty Jerome, years old, decided to kill her with friends so he could get access to that money. Don't you think that woman loved that man enough to help him do whatever? Send him to college, get him a new life, do whatever. See, this is why I get upset about this, because people have kids, and I'll give an example of my family. My sister's had a hair salon since she was 19, and it's been in different locations, bigger locations. My nephews have only seen her owning a business, so a lot of times in our conversations, that's what they think. Well, I'm gonna own a business too. Okay, well, tell me what you're gonna do. You gotta think it out. So my 10-year-old nephew has a lawn care company. He's been cutting people's grass this summer. It's very funny. He's been riding lawnmowers. I got all kind of pictures. But it's because it's a mindset change, and they're learning at a young age, and she's talking them through why it's important. You know, my 10-year-old nephew was 3 or 4 when I had my coffee shop. So he's like, I'm going to my aunt's business. Okay. My first job in my family was my cousin's dollar store. You know, I understand okay, I work for my family in this business setting. Many people don't have this. So when you send people out to go get jobs and go do things with no skills, they're angry. But here's an opportunity for this mom who owns a hair salon to teach Dusty Jerome some skills. And Dusty Jerome at 25 would rather kill his mom to get $90,000 in 2 life insurance policies. I can bet you money he had no long-term idea what to do other than strippers and vacations. I promise you, this Dusty Jerome didn't have anything bigger than that. He didn't have anything bigger. She was 45 and he was 24. So, I mean, she had him at 20, 21. So it's probably been a struggle. But instead of him being like, this is the teamwork. I mean, same thing with this woman's husband who killed her. If this woman still took you back after you had outside children, this woman still take you back after you being a Dusty Jerome, why kill the goose that lays the golden egg? Go get your alimony and go sit down. People watch the TV murder mysteries. You're not going to get away with it. The technology is just too great. It's just too great. I mean, there was a man who stabbed his pregnant wife a bunch of times in Raleigh. They traced his phone calls like, dude, you were in the city. You said you were out of town, but clearly you were in town. His kid was there. I mean, there's just so many things where it was like so loose. It took 7 years for them to finally get this guy and lock him up. And he's still running around talking about, it wasn't me. Who else had incentive to go in a house and murder a pregnant woman, but leave her other children alive? No one. Only you were cheating with her sorority sister back from college in another state. Only you. So it's just like, when you see these things, they're so obvious that the person is just in such a state of delusion that they think they can get away with this. But I'll look over this stuff. Sorry, I'm on a rant. Trying to change a man. Yes, Kenny, that is. Here's the thing. I put a thing up where it was saying, stop changing these men's lives for free. The most depressing thing I see in every single of the 10 credit repair groups I'm in on Facebook, and I make comments, I talk with people, and I'm like, hey, whatever you need. It's all these women. I'm here talking about college educated. I'm talking not college educated. I'm talking about too old to be doing that mess, 40-year-old women who are like, I'm living with this man. I let this guy move in with me. I'm co-signing on a car. I'm getting him credit cards. I'm helping fix his credit. And I respect every single woman in the comments that go, are y'all married? Are y'all married? Oh, y'all not married? Why are you doing that? Don't give boyfriends husband privileges, because guess what happens? Like clockwork, I promise you. Some of these women in December had done this, and now February, April, March, well, my ex moved out and I put him on all this stuff on my credit, and I'm just worried because I've only been doing this for 4 or 5 months. Why are y'all treating people that are boyfriends or people that just want to be a roommate, a Dusty Jerome who just needs somewhere to stay, like a husband? He's not a husband. A person who, and hear me out. I've got a lot of uncles in my family, a lot of boy cousins, and they say this over and over again. If he wants you, he will come get you. And people will be like, what does that mean, Erica? If he wants you, he will come get you. And what it means is, it doesn't matter if y'all go to the courthouse and get married. It doesn't matter if y'all go have a little wedding at a chapel on a Saturday or Sunday or Monday. If he wants you, he will come get you. These people are so used to bare minimum, low expectations of a gentleman, and I'm being nice, that when someone just, I'm here. I'm kind of at your house. I don't wash my clothes. I don't cook any food. I don't bring anything to a house. You should be like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Move on. I mean, there was even a woman in the group who was like, I have 4 kids and my boyfriend wants to move in with me because he lost one of his 2 jobs. Why? He's not bringing anything. He's just having a stability moment, a survival moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Why would you bring a guy in your house and he only has 1 job and you're still working 2 with 4 children? These people kill me, yo. But the thing of it is they're trying to build somebody up. And here's the thing about what these guys see. When I improve my life, I'm going to go somewhere else. And I remember there's a guy on YouTube I watch, and I try not to talk about him because people are like, you watch that? He's sexist. But he was like, dating life really starts for men when they start making $50,000 income or have their own apartment. And he says anything before that is just, oh, this is the girl I could get. This is what I could afford. These are the dates I could afford. I even had a friend one time say, man, I got all this new credit. I'm on a new level of dating. Because men might associate money and where they're at financially with how they can date. Now, I'm not a man. I can't say that for certain. You guys can comment or not. But I just thought that was so funny that that was what he said. Real dating for men starts when you make over $50K a year, you have your own place, and you can choose to date who you want to. Not because this is just who around, but this is who you can want to. So a lot of these women are investing all this stuff in this guy, and then he leaves, and they're so upset that he goes on to date somebody else and married somebody else. I'm sorry, I've seen actual people from college live with a guy for 5 years, have kids. The guy leaves them a year and a half later. He marries another girl. No kids with her, dating her, respectfully marries her. I've seen it. So you shouldn't settle for less. Many people say, you don't understand. We're in a bad position. If you guys are in such a horrible, poor position, marry each other and just build yourself up. Period. That's my dynamite rant there. But every time I'm in these credit repair groups, I love when people comment, and I'll do it all my time. If you're not married, what are you doing? He's not married to you. He's not invested to you. Girl, bye. So anyway, sorry. We're going through a cultural shift. The commodity of dysfunction is currently too high. The key is developing yourself, deeply value yourself, defend that value in a world of opportunities. It's very true, Alvin. We are in a world where, and I say this, there are people who I thought, man, they're so wealthy. I'll never get to be in their area. I'll never get to be in a conversation with them. And I just reach out to them and I can get access to them. Why? Because there's so few people at the top. And I really mean that there's like this many people at the top. And people that really put in the work, or people that are consistent for 5 years. I mean, right now, real estate agents, the average real estate agent, 80% or something like that, don't have a sale for the first 5 years of them. And after 2 years, a bunch of them are gone. So if you meet somebody who's still a real estate agent after 5 years and still putting in the work, that's again, same thing with a lot of different investing. You meet somebody who's been in there for 5 years, it's a whole different ballgame. And people that are cream of the crop, there's not a lot of people hanging out with them. I will tell you that personally. I've actually gone and hung out with people who make about $100,000 a month via YouTube and been like, man, they only got 5 friends. This is crazy. So anyway, Southern California, don't post personal info. Correct. Do not post it. There are people at home figuring out how to hack things all day long because they don't want to go get a job. Alvin Hollinger, lust has no logic. It's not bad. It's just overemphasized. So lust is bad. Okay, why is lust bad? Like, you can like something, but if you're lusting after it, like you kill for it, you do something dangerous for it. Now, and I'm not gonna get biblical or anything like that, but you can look at a woman and be like, oh yeah. You can look at a guy and be like, But the key here is, I'm not willing to hurt people to get that guy. I'm not willing to break up a home to get somebody. I'm not willing to stab a person to get that person, because that's to me, that's where I categorize lust, is where you're willing to do something reckless and dangerous. And that could be off. We could always go dictionary wise for lust. All right, Kenny G, right, simple SC. Alvin Hart, in reference to those people who attach themselves to other people. Okay, when is Classy Climb Rant channel coming? Dude, you know what's so funny is there is a conservative channel. I've been playing back and forth with it. Like, I got the link and everything for it, but I just was like, ugh, you know, I don't want anybody coming after me, but I need to. Malik Kim, what's up? Alvin Hollinger, you would be surprised how many basic, impulsive, and downright sociopath much of our society is. Gotta find your small tribe. Okay, ever heard of a homosexual guy who gets with a girl simply because she has a home? She trades off dough. company. Okay, so the funny thing about that, Alvin, there is actually an article on a homeless New York man. New York man. New York City is very expensive. He would go out to nightclubs all the time and have somebody to sleep with. I think Glenn and Cameron talked about this, and he's like, if he was really good and really nice to her, he'd stay there for 3 or 4 days. He could stay there for a week. That shit is crazy. I mean, and here's where I think that comes in. I've actually met people who are in their 40s and can't read and write. And his wife was mean to him. Everybody's like, why is he with this mean ass woman? And everybody's like, yo, Mr. D, I'm just gonna say his name, Mr. D. He can't read and write. Like, he's got a job at the Hall Plant in North Carolina, but he can't read and write. His wife fills out everything. That's why she treats him so bad. And that's crazy to me, right? Like, you're a 40-year-old dude, you'd be like, I'm tired of her treating me like crap. I'm gonna figure out how to read, or I'm gonna go learn somewhere, right? But there's people doing that. Like, this guy made a joke, why do you never see homeless women? And it's not funny because I've actually been homeless before for like a short week before my family was like, get your butt over here. It was one of those things of like, if you're a good looking woman, you always have somewhere to stay, right? But I also think we're in a society where people, gosh, this is going to be horrible when I say this, but I've met some guys at church who are just ugly, nothing's important about them. They're very boring. And then they're very picky about the women they want to be with. And then you go, well, what do you do? What kind of work do you do? What kind of money do you make? Okay, you're making $35 a year and you're very picky. No, that's not how it works for men. For men, you have to make more money, dude. And back in the day, I think some of these guys would have just married, I'm making a joke, but Fat Sally or something from church and been fine. And just lived their life with Fat Sally, had kids with Fat Sally, and went on living their life and been fine. But what I'm seeing, and I think I'm seeing a lot of, is men making like $30,000 a year, seeing a guy making $100,000 a year, and he's got the hot wife, and she's a stay-at-home mom, and she's posting to Instagram, and they've got the kids, and you're like, but you can't get there because he makes $100,000. And your wife can't stay at home because you only make 30. I've said something about this weekend. And I've actually had clients who, hey, my wife wants to stay home. We're going to start investing in property. And they've been some of my best clients I've ever had because they have a mission and a goal. My wife will stay home with these kids and relax. I mean, it is what it is. And so if you're with a guy who has no ambition, and you can blame it on water, food, chemicals, whatever, he can't read, whatever, there's something wrong with you too, right? So if you've got some guy who's just not contributing, there's something wrong with you too. And I actually know girls who had the guy move in, he barely paid any money, stayed there 6 months. 6 months later, he went out and bought his own place. I know people, and they weren't stupid. And everybody was like giving them the warning, like, I don't think this is a good idea. They're like, no, he's so nice. So look, it's sad. It's real sad. But back in the day, you would have married her and you'd have stayed with her, lived your life. All right. Leverage culture, people looking for the most out of each other. Why giving the least? Yes, Alvin, it's just horrible. So look, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've ranted enough. I gotta check on the jambalaya stuff. But anyway, the key here is social media. Don't let it have you twisted, right? But if you want to get around different type of people, it's very easy. I can tell you right now, I've gone to certain meetup groups here in Austin. Everybody there works from home, every single person. And it's about your environment. If you only sit around the same type of people all the time, you're going to think everybody's struggling. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's having a rough life. Then go across the other side of town and go, what? No, that's not happening for everybody. And I think that's the thing of it. It's like, you have to get around new people and new environments and be consistent. It's just plain and simple. Right now, today, I had because I keep reaching out to people. I had someone reach out to me and go, hey, we got this $38,000 house an hour down the road from you. Are you interested? Holy crap, bro. That didn't happen years ago where, because I was in this area, and this area is very expensive in Austin. But imagine someone really reaching out to you because they're like, I'm going to reach out to this person because they're in my Rolodex of people who want to better themselves. It's easy to do if you just choose to. So Alvin Holder, he's contributing, just not in the way that's constructive. Nope, not gonna go there. Yeah, he's contributing all right to nothing. And so when I see, and this guy got mad at me, and I said, when I see, I used to volunteer at the Catholic Charities homeless shelter. I promise you, and people think I'm being a bitch right now, but a lot of the men that were there, they were there because they didn't want to apologize. But hear me out. They did not want to apologize either to their parents they were living with, their friend they were living with in a trailer or somewhere, or their wife. A majority of the men. And they weren't dumb men and they weren't terrible men. They were just men who were there, but they didn't want to apologize. They were too prideful. And I'm like, dude, you're at a homeless shelter. You're at one of our halfway houses with your backpack and a car. Like, where's the pride in that, right? So there's there's some wiggle room in there, but I mean, for real, it's just like, people really don't want to work with people. They don't want to grow. So it's just like, it's hard. So anyway, constructive criticism. We'll try to keep it at that. So anyway, everybody, this is Erica, the Classic Climb blog. I promise not to log in again today, because after this, we're going to be enjoying some jambalaya. So guys, be good, be great. Social media murder. Don't post your stuff to public information. You'll get hacked. Do not keep Dusty Jerome's around, or let's keep it right, Dusty Janet's. It's hard to, I don't know. So anyway, but don't keep people around who aren't contributing, aren't growing. And sometimes that includes mom and daddy. Sometimes you might just have to go put mom and daddy over there and give them some money and go on about your life. Unfortunately, that happens for a lot of people. Other than that, growth is beautiful. Try to find ways to grow. Try to keep growing your circle. Nothing wrong with new people coming into the environment. Later, you guys.